Hey guys, happy Tuesday. How is everyone? Nice to see you, Mary. Welcome to Psychology Hour. I love that you're here. My trading day was great. Yeah, I got some shorts and then I got the long and then I got a short. I traded for a long on gold and was stopped out of break even. So, a couple break evens, but mostly some green across different accounts. So yeah, that's good. That's a good day. How about you? What's up, Piper? How's your guys' day, Mary and Piper? Welcome, everyone. Oh, I don't think I spelled that right. Another screen. Okay, so it is Tuesday, August 11th. How on earth is it always already August 11th? I feel like summer just started and now it's like feels like it's coming too fast. Slow down, summer. I'm not ready. Yeah, it was a choppy market. Yeah, I did good actually. I played in the chop in a couple of trades. I quickly moved to break even because I recognized that there was some back and forth and give and take in it. So thank goodness that was really protective of my accounts and everything's pretty good. Nice. Good, Piper. You're good, Mary? You had a good day? All right. Nice. So, today I am excited about because I was just thinking about everything that I'm going through this summer and like all the opportunities that I'm so blessed to be able to have, such as being here with you guys and streaming and my kids that I am madly in love with and also exhausted by all the time. So, summertime has been a little bit of a season for me in terms of still trying to do all of the work that I do while also like getting outside with them and doing all their activities and getting them to and from camp while I have other, responsibilities at certain times. So I was just thinking that I might not be the only one who sometimes struggles a lot. Oh, good job, Hyper. Ooh, pass it. I want to let Matt know how are you passing eval yesterday with that gold trade. That was a sick gold trade. Nice. That's awesome. So today, that's basically kind of the driving force of this one. Is I had this idea a couple weeks ago about talking about what it looks and feels like to basically hold stable through the pursuit of becoming a really good trader. Because I do believe that everyone who is here today, everyone who is really pursuing trading, has the potential to be a really good trader. Because showing up for these conversations and the work and the days that we're going through is what it looks like to build a successful trading career. And so that's what I want to talk about today is like a holistic approach to like who you are as a human and how we're getting through this and just like normalize some thoughts around it and what it would look like for me and for probably more than just me in terms of like holding our ground basically through the pursuit of seeking excellence as a trader, right? We want to make all the money in trading, right? That's the goal is to have like a really successful amount of money that we can do things with and change lives, change generational wealth type situations, or at the very least, like just elevate ourselves that we can and provide for those that we love as a base goal, right? With trading. So, what up, Matt? Welcome in. So that's kind of where we're at to talking about things today. And I just think everyone who shows up for these conversations, like it's not an accident that you found BluSky, that you found us coaches here at BluSky, and that you show up for things like these labs that we do. Because it means that you are on a path and you are like seeking greatness. You are hunting, you want to persevere in trading and reach those next levels of really high success rate in all avenues, right? And so I think that when you come to conversations that can help you hold steady and reach those higher levels more reasonably, more consistently on a nice, gentle equity curve on the upside, that's a big deal. And so what we want to talk about is how we can just kind of smooth it all out, right? Not blowing up on a red day, not being crazy happy on a big day. So that way you kind of carry that almost a high from those red days into potentially oversizing or being a little bit reckless with the rules the next day because you had such a big win that nothing can touch you, right? So instead, I think that it's really a success strategy. Excuse me, to build like a steady, sustainable, healthy, one good choice at a time type of approach to all of this because there's volatility on the charts, but also in life, right? So you never know when something's going to happen, when someone you love has an illness or an accident or Something goes on geopolitically, which we have seen, like some really traumatic stuff has happened in the world at large, and it's caused volatility in the market. There's a lot of volatility from every angle that you can see it, geopolitically, all the way down to your personal emotions and your closest people in your home. And so all of those things are a factor to what we have to weather as traders. So it's not just the random Truth Social posts that cause volatility that's outsized and challenging to work through. It also can be something in your real life that you're trying to still be a steady trader through. So there's a couple different ways to break this down. So we're just going to get into it. Thank you everyone for coming. Encourage your friends to trickle on in. We are getting into today's conversation. Okay, so the path to consistent profitability in trading can be brutal at times. It can really rock our emotions. And I think you guys saw both Justin and I interviewed trader Lucas, who is a BluSky trader. He really found early success. He's a baseball player that just carried that discipline over and dug in his heels and is really doing a great job in trading. But even he was saying that he cried when he had his first red month. And I love that he was vulnerable enough to admit that, because who hasn't, right? Like, raise your hand virtually in the comments if you would like, if you've ever let a red day affect your mood outside of trading. Because I have, right? There's carryover to this game. There is an influence to what we're doing on the charts that changes our life potentially, right? That you could, I'm the West Coast, and so the market closes at 1. There's a whole half a day left. For the East Coasters, it closes right before dinner, right? Piper says, yeah. So then, what if you have dinner plans? What if you have plans to see your family in the evening? What if your kids were kind of held at bay while you were seeing if there was a trade for power hour, and then you have to go potentially from a fire into a situation that has nothing to do with trading, and that carryover can be hard to work through at times, right? So there's a spiral that can happen, red day spiral, right? Potential. So a bad session, and suddenly you're questioning your ability, your system, your playbook, your identity as a trader, and those losses become personal. You can carry that weight of am I really doing this thing right? Should I be in this game? Is it I had another loss? What does that mean about me? That thinking track is easy to slide into, but really is not fair to you. It's not fair to us when we have that carryover, because it can really be more detrimental than it needs to be. Now, the flip side of that is that the really highs of it is when you have a big win and you're convinced that you have nailed it. You have locked in. Yeah, euphoria is a big deal. When it sets in and you're set up for sometimes even a harder emotional crash when you can't maintain that high level of success. When you read the market just perfect, it comes exactly to your entry, and then it just flies to all of the targets. Your trade was never in red. You got it on a different account even too. That's amazing, right? But there's a carryover for that potentially, where the losses can feel harder if you come back and you don't nail the next day or within the next week. But then also you can potentially put yourself at risk by allowing that to have a sort of an overconfidence outside of your system. Because sometimes we are going to get those home runs where you just really see it and you trust yourself and you allow it to reach all of the targets, and it's like a killer win. On those days, it's harder sometimes to move forward from them. So the cycle of this ebb and flow, sometimes it's really outsized. When you're young in trading, they hit harder. And so that big ups and downs of the cycle is draining, right? The emotional volatility accumulates, it erodes your confidence, your health. You can start to feel ill. You can have trouble sleeping, which makes you feel worse. You can get too much screen time and not enough activity time, and so then your body starts to ache from just sitting. Your relationships can take a hit, because if you're bringing that crabbiness into dinner more days than you're not, that's generally not super supportive for a relationship, because then the other person doesn't know if it's you or if it's them, what the problem is. If you're pursuing something that's damaging your relationship, then why are you pursuing it? It gets complicated, right? And so all of those factors can influence your ability to execute your edge to peak performance. And so that's what I want to shine the light on today, that there are these real stressors on the journey to profitability, consistency, and trading. And I really believe if we have awareness on potential risk factors as traders, then we can target them with specific behavioral choices and habits within the day that settle them down a little bit, because no one is perfect. But if you know that there is potential risk in given situations, there are things that you can do to hold yourself more steady through all of that. So that's kind of what the goal of this conversation will be today. Yeah, Matt too. It's real. It's a real situation. So I want to encourage you guys to really embrace the idea that your identity is not your profit and loss, right? It's not your P&L at the end of the day. It's not whether or not you've taken a payout this month. It's not whether or not you've gotten public kudos for whatever. It's not who you are. You are a person, a driven trader seeking excellence, showing up for the work of it. And there's a huge range within that, wherever one of us lies, you know? I do love this quote from this guy, Chuck Whitman. The goal is to trade well, not to be a trader in the way that needs constant proof. So you don't only feel successful when you get that beautiful, 4+ figure P&L for the day. Instead, you feel good when you have shown up and executed your system to the best of your ability. So that's the kind of energy that I want to encourage us to lean into. And you hear that a lot out of coaches that are many more years deeper in the game than us, that a successful day is honoring the system and our intentions as traders, our risk management. That is how you are successful as a trader. And the money follows that, right? So if your self-worth, which is insidious, right? I don't think any of us would say that our self-worth is tied to our P&L, but sometimes it's inherently like we just don't feel good about ourselves when things take a hit like that. And so when your self-worth is tied to your daily performance, every loss kind of feels like a personal attack, and every win is kind of a borrowed confidence. It's like buoyed, but not. It takes years for that to really cultivate a strong, stable confidence based on that experience. The initial highs and lows is all kind of shaky. It's like a little bit uneven ground. You can't trust it just yet. And you do have to just keep doing it. And then it stabilizes, the ground becomes less and less shaky. You recognize that after every single loss, you have rebounded. Your P&L has recovered. That day you thought just destroyed your heart and soul. The next week you had some good trades and you were in a good conversation with your community and you felt better. So then every time you weather those ups and downs, you'll realize that you made it, like that you recovered, that you stabilized out. And so the more experience we have of essentially pulling through reminds us that we can pull through. And so it helps to settle it out a little bit. But I do think that stable traders separate what they do from who they are, because trading is an action, it's a business. You're the practitioner, but you're also still like a, wonderful person who deserves support and attention and kudos and positive energy. Honor the system set in place is such a big deal that should be what drives us all to feel good about ourselves. So we manage our risks appropriately. We didn't oversize, we didn't take outsized risks, and we were true to our intentions as a trader. If you really, in the morning before your trade session, you think through what it would look like to be my best trader self, and then you follow that, whether or not your green it's better to have followed your rules, right? All right, guys. No, heartburn or something. Okay, so I don't know who all has read this book, but One Good Trade is by Mike Belfiore, who is one of the founders of S&B Capital out of New York. And he wrote this book, gosh, I think like 20 years ago now, maybe somewhere between 15 and 20 years ago. But it's called One Good Trade, and I love it. I've read it a couple of times, like I've dug into it for other work. And so that whole premise is actually one good trade followed by one good trade. Yes, you guys know that I believe in visualization and thinking about the trader that you want to be, and then pulling that back into what that trader would do in the now, so that way you can try and shape your habits into reaching those goals. But in the moment, in the trading sessions, that's not the time to have those bigger visualization sessions where you think about that. In the middle of your trading session is where you kind of lock in to one good trade followed by one good trade. And so that is part of the technical aspect of this conversation that I want to focus on before we do a little bit more psychology in the second half. But Mike Belfiore, he built a trading culture around this main idea, and you hear it and almost every bit of content that comes out of S&B Capital. I mean, it started with the book, and then, now everything's online. So they have a strong channel, but the content is focused around this concept of showing up and doing the work and focusing on every trade stands alone. And you want to have one good trade stacked upon each other for endless, right? So that kind of directly applies to how we want to protect ourselves in this game, is locking into one good trade followed by one good trade, right? So what does that mean? So it isn't about being perfect. Instead, it's about giving yourself the peace to let each trade stand alone and prioritizing your process over the outcome. because you want to execute the trade that your system indicates. When you get a buy signal based on this candle pattern at this level with this, volume and what have you, whatever your structure is for your entry criteria, then you shoot your shot at that, right? You trade what shows up for your criteria for a good setup within your system, within your indice that you trade, and you trade it with discipline and full presence. You're aware of what you're doing, how you're managing it. You follow your system in terms of stop loss management and target execution. That is how you win that trade. And then the P&L is what it is. That's not really a factor to the one good trade concept. Instead, it's I have written this playbook. This is how I'm supposed to trade this setup on this indice at this time frame within my structure. So when I get this sign to buy, I'm going to go for it because that's my setup. And so one good trade, probably one good trade. That's the job, right? That's the official quote that is all over the place. But basically, you want to stay present with the market when you're in that day, when you're trading your day. You want to watch the candles. You want to see how they close if that's a part of your process. You want to read them and understand, think about your specific playbook, what you like for a long, like if it's a trending bullish day or trending bearish day, which we were in for a couple hours. But, if it's going in a certain direction on the pullback, then you enter, right? That is potentially a trade setup. And so read the price action. Think about if you have a trending day setup, a playbook, a trade setup that you honor, right? How do you get in? So then you execute your setup for that market context and your read of the day that day. And you just follow your system, right? It doesn't have to be complicated. You size appropriate for your account. Your entry and your stop are kind of planned based on, maybe you do it based on a candle structure and then your stop goes outside of that. Maybe factor in ATR. And so then you don't deviate, right? You just honor it. Like that is kind of treating it almost more professionally than a lot of discretion is involved. You can have some discretion, but I think if you have a concrete plan, especially in the beginning, you'll be able to read your stats better because they won't be skewed by general emotions that day that cause you to manage it differently. And then assess it honestly. So good process or not, regardless of the result, you want to have follow-up with yourself of like, by really just monkeying around and getting all kind of crazy town results because I'm just shooting shots all over the place? Or am I saying I had 2 bearish continuation setups today? One of them I executed really well and maybe I squeezed it. And the other one I chased the entry a little bit. And so those are all lessons. Like you can say, I read the market context right at this time. We were bearish and the trend was down. This is how I could have maybe adjusted here and there and assess it honestly. So that's where you're just real with like, I'm a professional trader. Like I have the setup. This is what it looks like to get in. This is how we need to adjust as needed. What up, RQ? Thanks for making it, bud. We are talking about how to be our most stable selves throughout the journey of becoming consistently profitable traders and how to honor who you are and how you're showing up. So then with this setup of one good trade, that being your priority with every single trade you execute as a trader, you just want to reset and repeat, right? Every new trade is a new opportunity for one good trade based on your strategy, based on your playbook. So every time, whether that trade ends or not, maybe you trade ES and NQ, and maybe you're in this trade and you see the setup coming on ES. So if you have the capital or you have a different account, you want to trade this other setup in, that's a standalone trade. You need to separate them and say, what is my criteria for this setup on this indice that is happening potentially right now? If it is this, fits with my setup, fits with market context, then how do I execute it per my plan? And that is the goal technically, to basically take out more emotion from your trading, because then it isn't like, oh, I really thought I should go long and I just didn't. That's more gray, and you can have more anxiety around that because it's not a specific setup. It's not clearly defined. Okay, so if we kind of drill into the mindset behind this a little bit, I want you guys to think about, I mentioned it, I alluded to it earlier about how I do believe in the power of visualization in terms of like when we have quiet time off of our charts, like closing our eyes and thinking about what it looks like to be Becky, the 7-figure professional trader, 5-6 years down the line, who she is, how she's looking, how her office has been redesigned, whatever, like the success she has with her family, the trips that she's taking. And then you pull that back into what that looks like for today's trader, what behaviors you do when you show up, how you show up, what you honor in your system, how you act within your community, and pull that back in. Now, that is one activity as a trader that you can do to help focus you on what you want to do as a trader. But if you get too fixated on that, if you get really fixated on thinking about the big picture and the grandiose, that can be distracting. So I want you guys to do that sort of activity in the evenings, in the early morning, before you're identifying your levels that you want to trade off of, or on the weekends. You have, a 20-minute time to sit somewhere quietly in the dark or with like a less subtle instrumental music and have those moments. And then put it in place where you have certain habits you want to prioritize for the given week. But intraday, Tuesday morning, market open, you got to focus. Like we have to, there's a time for big picture and there's a time for not being distracted. So you zoom back in to what is happening right now, because when we're distracted, we can be thinking about the future and not really focusing on what your job is right now. Like you think about a surgeon, they use visualization. It's part of literal med school. But when they have their hands in someone's body, like they wholly 100%, you want your surgeon to think about your arteries that they're not going to cut, right? And so I want you guys to think about that as a trader. Like when you are at your business, you're at your computer and it's time to cut the artery or not, you know what I mean? Focus. Like that's where your mind needs to be. You need to be on your process. What are the larger time frames doing? What is the energy of the market? What is like the direction? How do I manage my risk? What is my support? What is my failure rate, right? Thanks, Mary. So this is how I want you guys to, yes, think about the future, but not when it's time to handle your business. Because how many of you have missed a clear entry because your mind was somewhere else? You're worried about what happened yesterday or the next week or what you have going on later in the day. For me, distraction has been an issue in my trading career, whether it's my family or it is an emotional carryover, or I just have so much on my plate for a given day that I'm like, I just want to lock in this trade. And I'm thinking about, if I have to do an interview or whatever have you later, or you're working through some tickets maybe on your backup day job, that can make it really challenging to really nail your entries and exits and your trade setups. And so I would encourage you that if you're putting your risk on the line, especially when you're getting your entry and you're managing where your stop and your targets are, that requires your full attention. And if you think about it as a surgeon, and that this is the crux of your work is when you're touching this entry and exit buttons, then that needs to be full attention on that. And honestly, that makes the whole pursuit better and more stable because you are dialed into what you need to do when you need to do it. And there's time for all these other thoughts outside of it, like the actual time of managing your entry and exits is small, really. And unless you're like a micro scalper who does a lot of entries, that's different. But most of us are not micro scalpers, right? Yeah, I've been there too. Like distraction is absolutely something that I've had to work through. And thank goodness my husband will help me in the morning, especially during the school year, to help make sure they're dressed and they're eating so that I can trade market open. So there's some other aspects of this, right? That when I'm talking to you guys about as if you're trading in your core session is as if you're a surgeon. Well, you want to have yourself be as steady as possible in order to really show up for that work, because prioritizing being at peak and considering this a performance activity will help you really kind of make it real, right? Make it profession. Then you're not acting as if this is a hobby or a gamble. This is your business. You're figuring out how to execute your capital and how to protect your back end so that your business can thrive for 20, 30 years. And so these are things that will help you show up as your best self for this. So a physical baseline kind of core stability is having good sleep, having some movement in your day where you're stretching and your body isn't getting sore and painful from just sitting too much, and having nutrition. Like, I know that sounds kind of fluffy and maybe I'm showing my colors as a lady here, but I don't think that those are soft elements of this. I think that it's the infrastructure to being a strong, focused person, because there's literal science around your mind focuses better when it has these things in its core. Like I recently spoke to a performance psychologist in the trading space, Creda Sheehy Kelly out of Ireland. And she was like, every time she takes on private clients, she's like, you have to focus on your sleep. I want to see your sleep journal. And I want to know what you are doing in terms of sleep, hydration, and food when you show up to your chart. Because if there's something core there that needs to be shifted, like that has to be addressed. If you want to be at your peak performance, like these are requirements to like be in her system and to seek the alpha numbers that she wants to get her traders to. That's literally day one. They are required to report their sleep. And I was like, I'm so glad you said that, because I trade like garbage if I am really tired, because my brain is slower and I'll F around a little bit more because I'm just not making the healthiest choices. So I have found that to be true as well. And then also I think it's good to just pay attention to your psychology, because there's a lot of things going on as humans, right? We have relationships with people. And so if you are in a little bit of instability with your person or with your parents, or someone is sick and you're worried about them, there could be some carryover for that. So there's a huge range to that, the amount that that could influence you. But I do want everyone to encourage you to just pay attention to your state of mind when you're showing up to trade. Because if you are feeling really anxious and frustrated and irritated or what have you, it is a little bit harder to really adhere to your plan. And the monkeying around with your levels is easier to do because you're just distracted. It's a part of the way that people can be distracting. You're thinking about reliving that conversation or what you're going to say later, or you really need to have a great P&L day because you're irritated with your husband or your spouse and you want to be able to show whatever, you know what I mean? Like that influence into your trading is generally not going to be supportive for getting strong outcomes, you know? And then another side of that is your life outside the screen. So what do you have going on that kind of grounds you? And for me, this is kind of a core part of this conversation today, because the other parts we've talked about before and this a little bit, but having trading being pretty volatile part of a person's life, right? Seeing literal dollar signs in multiple figures coming and going and in and out, and accounts blossoming and going to payout versus blowing and having to get a new one. That's a lot of emotional swings that you have to try and weather and stabilize. And so if when you are not trading and you're not experiencing those direct interactions with money and stress, it's so important for your nervous system to come back down to a steady level. Like it's, if you think about people, some people monitor their resting heart rate, and that means that you can take high risk and then be able to calm it down. And that's such a sign of cardiac, but also just general body health, that you can bring it back down, because then you are ready basically to launch again. You know, you calm everything down so that way you can have a strong launch off of a stable platform. And so for that, it's like fostering your relationships, putting forth energy to show up for the people who show up for you, and operating with some kindness and appreciation and love and respect. That way you're getting that back in return. And that feels like a safe place if that is something that you get to have. But then also it can be hobbies or physical activity. Those basically, I love the idea that they're shock absorbers, right? It's a place for you to kind of drop your charge, drop the shock, settle down like the emotions of it. Because if you can really zone into a close interpersonal relationship with someone, it can help you let go of the swings of the money. You know, you can get it out of your mind, because sometimes the candle patterns, the setups, they kind of haunt us, right? You can keep reliving the trading session again and again and again for hours. And then all of a sudden your evening is done and you didn't know real life, even though you did know trading. And so that doesn't really serve you. I would argue that if your day held lessons, maybe there was something you kind of mishandled on the charts, didn't follow your system, didn't work out, even if it was your system, and you're feeling carryover, maybe write that down. Because if the carryover is following you into the rest of your life, try and find a way to get that off of you, like to just write it down, to call a friend, to just type it in the chat, whatever. That way you can move somewhere else and experience life outside of the charts, because that will absorb the shock. It will settle you down. It will pull you back down into real life. You can have those where you're actually seeing someone, where you're actually looking at their eyes instead of just being around other people. I don't know if you guys have experienced that, but I have, where you're around other people, but you're not listening. You're not making eye contact. You're not having an in-depth conversation with them. You're just smiling and nodding and going through the motions and getting dinner on the table and whatever. But it's different if you actually really hear them and engage in a deep conversation and cook something with a lot of flavor and a lot of love poured into it, versus reheating something out of the freezer. Like there are different ways to pull out of trading and put into real life that help this whole like pull down outside of the screen, right? So the conversation about past, present, and future is a part of this, right? And so our past can cause some anxiety a little bit. It is data, it did create us, it is a factor. There is some parts of our past that really are heavily influenced in our current psychology that is worth doing some work on for a lot of us, which is not to be done while you're on the charts. That's something to be done in the past, but or on your off time. But I think when you try and live in the past, it really doesn't help you manage the current situation. So I do want, if there was a lesson, they take the lesson, right? But you can't undo yesterday's trade. You can't undo yesterday's red. Like yesterday, I streamed in the morning and I literally had a $400 loss right away at like 6:40 in the morning. I can't fix that. You know what I mean? Like I literally had to just be like, okay, we're gonna have a deep breath. We're gonna see what the market is doing, and we're gonna try and find our next opportunity. And the next trade won. So you just like, I can't fix that, right? You can't undo yesterday's trade and replaying it, feeling shame, irritation, like how would I mismanage that? Well, you can't go back and manage it differently. But you can let the lesson have a factor, and then you can just be present with the current day, with this session, with this opportunity, with whatever capital you have, with a new account, however that looks for you. And then the same thing with the future too. Like, it can't really change what you're doing right now. You want to aim towards your future, but you don't want to get fixated on the daydreaming about it. And like, like, I believe in affirmations. I think that they help reframe our internal self-talk, but I don't, they're not enough standalone to do anything, right? You can't just be like, I'm $1 million trader, I'm $1 million trader, I'm $1 million trader, and then click buttons and have $1 million. It has to be one small aspect of a very robust trading system that just reminds you of where you're going and how you see your future, and then what that looks like in terms of actions now. So you want to aim towards your biggest goals and do some visualization work at times, but don't lose your focus on the day that is in front of you, because the only day that you actually have the power over is right now, right? This session, this trade, this moment, that's where your life is, right? That's where the edge is. This is where you're building your skill. Showing up for classes like this, this is what you have, right? You have these conversations. You have the market today for the next hour and a half. It's open today. This is the opportunity right now. So worrying about tomorrow, worrying about this morning, it won't change anything. The only thing that you can influence is what you can do right now. So living in the present is how you can really get the right actions taken, right? This guy, Thich Nhat Hanh, I'm so sorry if someone knows how to say that and I butchered it, but he's deep in the world of Buddhist mindfulness and has been called the father of mindfulness. So this quote, "The present moment is the only moment available to us, and it's the door to all moments." So I really enjoy the whole concept of like, right now is what it is. It helps my relationships be stronger, because when I'm with someone, like, I want to really engage with them and like have a thoughtful conversation and show up and be present. Because if you're not present, like, days can pass and you have no idea what's going on, and nothing meaningful settles in. But like mindfulness to really enjoy this moment, it's like when you eat, right? If you're eating a meal that is really well prepared and you're just eating slower and this flavor is so good, like I love the use of garlic and whatever, and you like really think about the bites, like it can be a really wonderful experience, versus if you're just like eating the food in front of you because you need to not be hungry anymore and you got shit to do. That's a different meal experience, right? It can be night and day of a meal experience. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, your life is so much more beautiful and enriching when we're present. So the past, sometimes it has regret. We can replay it. There can be some shame with certain choices, which the mind just too often tends to go to the negative, which is irritating, right? But focusing on anything that you wish you'd done differently in the past will often really kind of drain your energy and get your mind in like negative vibes if you're thinking about things you wish you had done different. And that does not serve anything that you're aiming for, right? The future is similar-ish, because it can cause anxiety, fantasy, distraction, and it can kind of disconnect you from what you're controlling right now, because you can be so fixated on what you're going to get and not be building it right now with intention and actions and habits and choices and engaging with your situation in front of you. So the idea about the present is that you are focused and disciplined and alive, and you're creating the results, and you're choosing the habits that you have studied and backtested for yourself that give you your best days. It's such a more powerful experience. And it's like the P&L is a lagging indicator, right? Like, that's the same thing with daily habits and actions and the way that you're experiencing these opportunities in front of you. That is what creates the life, not just the trade creates the P&L, but like the whole life experience creates the whole life experience. And when you think about how much money you want to make for trading as a goal, probably most of you, myself, I think about what that life looks like. So is there travel? Is there a different vehicle? Is there a different home? Is there, my children are having different experiences because of what is in their life. So I don't just see the money, I see the whole picture of the life. And so what that looks like. And so that can be a part of like in the present. That doesn't only mean I focus in on my P&L, more so like, am I healthy in that life so that I can like walk all over Europe for, 30,000 steps in a day? Well, that means I probably need to have some quad strength, right? And so then I want to have some stability now. And so it's a big picture approach to we're building more than just funded accounts, is what I'm kind of trying to like allude to. Usually introverts are everywhere than in the present moment. Yeah, if you're in your head a lot, if you're quiet on the quieter side and you just think through everything and you don't have a ton of people in your surroundings that you can have the conversations you want to have with, it is easier to get stuck in kind of thought loops. So I would encourage you in that situation to try and direct them more so to something helpful. Either you're ruminating on a lesson that you really want to see deep in your mind, or you do have some visualization of positive outcomes. But then I would encourage you to like lock into the present as much as you can. So be more active, in community and DMs, or with your kids, like get out of the house, go to the park, go for a bike ride if you can. I think every moment spent in the past or the future is energy stolen from the only place where profitable trading actually happens and where real life actually happens. So there's the two aspects of that is like we can really focus in on our best trading system when we're present with the price action, with our playbook, with our strategy, with our approach, but then also with who we're trying to show up as a human and in our families and in our friendships and in our communities. All of that is built with the like momentary right now interactions that you're having. So I really believe in the concept of giving yourself grace. And part of it's because I have treated myself both ways. I've treated myself with grace and like faith in where I'm doing and what I'm building. And I have also been really hard on myself and ashamed of tilt days. And one was healthier and one was less healthy. So I think you guys kind of know what I mean on that, right? So what grace is not. So grace is not excusing sloppy execution or rule breaking. It is not ignoring real patterns that need correction. And it is not bypassing your review process because it's painful. So I'm not saying if you have a hard day that you just have to say, well, I still love myself and tomorrow's gonna be better. Yes, you still love yourself, but you mismanaged this day. So face the facts, review it honestly, make it functional, not painful. So just, recognize that you're still earlier in your trading game and you want to figure out what you could have done differently in order to be stronger. So instead of having to be any sort of negative emotion, more so, this is a lesson day. Let's learn. I'm still learning. I am not that consistently profitable trader of my future. Right now, I'm in the trenches and I'm dialing in what I mismanaged and how I can manage it differently moving forward. Yeah. And so, what grace is, right? Acknowledging the development is nonlinear, reviewing mistakes with curiosity, not cruelty, and recognizing that losses are tuition, not punishment. So I wholeheartedly believe in this slide, like with every part of my being, you guys. Like if of anything in this entire talk today, it's this one. It's this quote here, right? Be patient with yourself. Self growth is tender, it's holy ground. There's no greater investment. And that's from the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I guess as the psychology coach here at BluSky, like this is what I would really encourage you guys to think about and remember on every single trading day of be proud of yourself on the good days, take some lessons from them and enjoy life outside of that and come back fresh and clear headed the next day. On the hard days, don't be cruel to yourself. Don't talk to yourself as you talk to an enemy, right? Talk to yourself as you would talk to a friend, someone you love who is also trying to do trading. And maybe you had a neutral or a slightly good day and they had a freaking horrible day. Like, how would you love them through that? How would you believe in them and their trajectory forward? Maybe it's someone you started trading with the same season and you're both growing and learning, and it just happens to be that person's hard day. What do they need to hear? And what do you believe in them? And what evidence can you point to in terms of how much they've grown and developed over time? And then can you help them suss out the lessons of it? Well, like, I didn't know you were trading 2 minis. I thought we were still trading like 6 micros. Like, how did you get in that position with 2 minis? Is that something to talk about? That could be a way that you're like opening up the lessons to make them count in terms of like that accountability to your trade plan and your intentions, but not doing it with any sort of shame and bad vibes. More so like, I believe in you. I believe in me. What's the lesson? How can I make this day count? and then show up the next day as if I just had a trading day. Like I didn't have a bad day or a good day. I had a day as a trader. Now I'm present with my next day as a trader. What is my opportunity in front of me, and how can I best focus and drill into it? Yeah. I think that I think the reason why this like this whole conversation, especially on this slide, kind of gives me a little bit of chills is because I think that we probably all done it both ways to ourselves, right? We are our own worst critics. Yeah. I think that this is a real experience, especially when you haven't drilled it in and you haven't put awareness on maybe how you're talking to yourself and how you're letting the feelings ruminate after a trading day. Because there is a truth of the human nature is to, like there's a perfectionism in it and wanting to just put your best foot forward. And if you showing up, then you want to have the great outcomes. And then if you don't have the great outcomes, there's can be some shame around it. But we've got to break that habit. Like if that's something that you're still stuck in, you've got to figure out a way to work through it and be more steady at the end of it and recognize that changing habits or who you have been and how you've been showing up takes time, right? This quote, self-growth is tender and it's holy ground, means that you're trying to change deep parts of yourself. And so you need to give yourself the time and space to do that because trading is very challenging for quite a while. It's one of the hardest professions, if not the hardest. It's the way that it impacts your psychology. It's a real thing until you can kind of get on the other side of not being able to see it as clearly. It takes time. And so through that time, you have to be able to do this here where you are being patient with yourself and just taking lessons and faith over fear kind of thing. So now I don't know, judge me if you want. But this is not toxic positivity. It's actually a strategy. Like I don't have a neuroscience slide in here, but I could if I wanted to, because there is an energy to reminding yourself. When I had my guest coach Amy on here a month or so ago, she was absolutely like, "This is not me just showering you with love and sunshine and rainbows. It's like believing in yourself because then you could show up and have that belief in yourself when you truly think that you can do this thing. Then you show up with a different kind of energy of like, I don't need to be any kind of crazy town person. I just need to believe in my strategy that I've studied and back tested and execute it." So it's like a leveling off of your strategy. Grace comes after reflection. Since started journaling, my whole perspective changed towards growth. Awesome, Mary. I love that. Everything is better. So this is good vibes only. Okay. So that is a real thing. I don't know what everyone's thoughts are on vibes, but like I think that there's a thing with vibes, like sometimes certain situations feel good, certain people you just jive with right away. It's a good vibe. It's a good energy. It's a good perspective. You feel more stable and more optimistic versus like a heaviness that is like fear and anxiety and angst, or someone who is like your oil and water with, where their personality is just not yours. And you're like, I can't even stand the way you said that one thing. That's not the vibe for you, right? But I think choosing to have this sort of grace and approach of like, it's fine, I got this, like give it time. Choosing that stable, encouraging emotional environment. It's not about pretending losses don't sting, because they do. It's more about refusing to let them define the atmosphere that you carry forward, that you let sit with you through dinner with your family and keep you up at night when you're supposed to be sleeping and get well rested. We have to kind of let those go. It's refusing to let anything that was less than ideal to pull you down from the next phase. It's staying present in the moment. And the present moment is not this last trade. It's right now, it's priced out, it's printing in front of you, and an opportunity. If you still have capital, if your account's not locked, either good or bad, then you get to try and direct yourself for the current status. So your emotional climate is a performance variable, and it's one that you can control. It's like basically if you can recognize yourself as tilting, you shouldn't be executing trades, right? So that's the same with this. If you recognize that you're just really frustrated about yesterday's trading session and you were up late with whatever happened, and so you're under rested and you're frustrated and you have emotional carryover from the day before, I would at a minimum scale down, or I would, if you can, sleep in and wait and trade later in the session to try and catch up on a little bit of rest and recognize that the market is abundant and you don't have to trade if your emotional state is not at a performance level, because then you're just operating at a higher risk. It's like going to make a business deal with some real sketchy people. There's going to be a higher risk of that conversation and that interaction going down. It could go all kind of ways depending on your business, if you're engaging with some troublesome vibes. So factor that in, right? Factor in the emotional climate that you are trying to do a high performance sport in. And it could be a better choice in terms of longevity because the market is abundant. There is opportunities morning and evening and Globex, and it doesn't all happen to happen in one day. A small win can be a small win, and then tomorrow could be a bigger win, and then the next day could be a small loss. And at the end of the week, it could be a profitable week. Like that's the sort of trajectory I want us to kind of try and aim for, right? So, stabilizing your pursuit gets to start now. If you feel like you're still having more roller coasters than you would prefer, and you're having like the high highs and the low lows, and it doesn't really always feel great, what can you modify with that, right? Can you start each session more grounded? So that means like a brief check in with your body and your mind and your readiness. And if you're off, maybe you size down or you sit out. Because if something is having that carryover we talked about, there's a slightly increased risk of not executing per your peak optimal energy for your trading session. Is that what you want to do? Do you want, would you go up to and, a race day to qualify for something important? And would you, still feel good about it if you had some negative things in your check-in? You're not at your peak. So focus on one good trade at a time. Execute one good trade. Playbook only. Process over outcome. Judge yourself on the decision, not the result. And so that is the whole one good trade followed by one good trade. Focus on let each trade stand alone. It's not a carryover from the last win or loss because that can make you over leverage or mismanage in any kind of way if you have carryover. Instead, my size is this for a trade in this indice because of this is my account size, this is my leverage size, XYZ. I don't get to monkey with that. So right now I know my size. I know the amount of risk I'm willing to take for this trade. This is my setup based on my playbook, based on my back testing. So then I just go for it. And so that sort of energy is professional trading, and it will cause you less anxiety because there's less variables to worry about. Like, I don't know, is this what somebody said? I didn't write down my process. So I think this is along, but I don't really know exactly how to get in. Well, write that stuff down. Like have a playbook, understand your setups, and then execute on them. And you will be more stable for it because there's less unknown and variables, and that unknown causes anxiety. So that literally is a way to feel more steady emotionally is by having more of a set plan and what you're looking for on the charts in order to entertain a certain trade. Those are my favorite business drills. When it's a little sketchy and you're not sure the vibes and it could go any kind of way. It's amazing. This is why you're a trader, Justin. Because you're like, let's see what happens. Let's find out. This is why we're friends. Okay, so reset between trades. This is good because there could be multiple opportunities in trading day, right? So you want to breathe and release the last trade, a winner or loser. The next setup deserves your clear mind, your focus, your attention on that trade. What your setup is, how you manage it, how you get in, and what to do with it. And having a little reset, which we talked about before, is it a little walk? Is it some deep breaths? Something to kind of let go of the last trade, let it wash out of your mind. So that way you are looking at your larger time frames, your entry criteria, your RSI or your volume or your moving average, whatever it is that is important to you on your entry criteria. If you're considering another trade, you need to have dumped the last one out of your mind because it's not influencing the next one, right? You need to be able to be fresh and say, maybe that was a short win or loss. Is the market condition still favoring the shorts? Because right now I'm considering another trade. So have that reset. Review the day with curiosity, not cruelty. So end of day review is the coaching session, not a punishment. What can you learn? What do you want to repeat? What do you want to modify? What didn't even make any freaking sense? And you need to message a coach or in the community and just see if anyone else experienced that. Don't throw shade on yourself, right? There's no sense in having bad feelings against yourself because you're doing something super hard. Like learning to be a consistent trader is really challenging. So no cruelty allowed to yourself, right? And just curiosity. Come to the markets with curiosity if you're going to get a trade set up. Come to your review of your day with curiosity on what could you do a little bit better because you want this thing, right? You are driven to be a really successful trader. So how should you modify and get better over time? And then live the rest of your day fully. So close the platform. The market will be there tomorrow, but your life is happening right now. So whatever you traded, however your trading session went. Yesterday, I was red in the morning, and Coach Matt coached us through some nice gold trades in the afternoon, and my account ended the day green. there was some emotional volatility in that for me, some highs and lows, but like I am getting better at not letting any of that stay with me because I can't go back and redo the day. Like I showed up and did my best and it is what it is and there were some lessons in there. But then I really value having strong relationships and an outside world that brings me some peace. And when I show up for other people, then they want to show up for me more. And so that give and take is valuable. And so let it go, right? Close it. It'll be there tomorrow. Then you want to show up fresh. And so having that time to do something else like wholly will help you be able to be really fresh the next day and you'll sleep better if you've moved your body, if you've had something engaging that is off of staring at a blue light screen situation, then you enjoy your life in all aspects, not just the trading that we're building. And then you'll be fresher for the next day. So for me, that's what it looks like and feels like to be stable through the experience of learning to be a consistently profitable trader. Stabilizing it looks is more than just the trading. The trading is a factor, but also giving yourself grace. Red days are lesson days, all days are lesson days. And then you have to experience something off the charts because that really does bring your nervous system back to baseline. So that way you can be stable to reset and trade the next day. So, you guys, usually at this time, I have like 3 more slides to do and I start talking really fast, but this is the last one. So I'm actually semi caught up. So does anyone have any questions or thoughts about trying to stay their most stable self through trading and show up for the work and not have emotional carryover? How many of you guys still struggle with like emotional carryover in your days? I have. I think it's getting better. I think with experience, like I'll see my setups better now. Like I think experience changes all of that for us. Like for my trading setups, I'm able to spot them sooner. I'm able to spot my pattern sooner. I understand my risk more, how many contracts of what I want to put on based on the setup and what the range is for the day. All of that comes a little bit faster the more you trade it. The more sessions you show up for, the more trades you put on, you understand how it flows more so, what a winning trade looks like, and vice versa. Same thing with the emotional part of it, I know which days feel better, and they are the days where trading is trading and my life is my life, and I am present with both things at the same time. Those days I just feel better at the end of the day. So that's what I want to rinse and repeat for me. I think it's a real thing. Yeah, Piper too. Oh no, I know. Being opposite of a coach on screen is very stressful. And when Jetson and I stream together and he's like, I see longs and you see shorts. Uh-oh. Causing me stress too. Thanks, Mary. Yeah, there you go, Oscar. That's what's up. Just follow Mike. Just let it be. Like he calls the levels, just do what he does and make some money, right? I love that. We're so blessed here at Blue Sky. Like, I don't know how there's not a million people in those streams, especially in the morning, because he is just a freaking wizard. And he's a good person. Like today, he called out a winner, and the other person actually got the comment in slightly faster. And both people got an account this morning when we hit over 100 in the live stream this morning. So it's like that's sort of like kindness and generosity and good intentions, goodwill is like the backbone of this company, you guys. So all about like hanging out with Mike in the morning for a lot of reasons. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions, hit me up. You guys know how to find me in Discord. And then this will be posted on YouTube later this evening. So if you missed the beginning or you want to share with a friend that maybe needs to get a little bit of self-love and some grace over cruelty, please share it. Like I think that there's room enough for us all to have these conversations and become our strongest trader selves. And otherwise, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back for Power Hour in 5 minutes or so, and we'll see what we can see on the charts, you guys. So everyone take care. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye. Maybe bye. Maybe Nick walked away for coffee. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Power Hour. How is everyone? Thanks, Mary. How's everyone's trading day? What's up, Matt? How are you?
Doing fantastic. Excited to be here with the team to navigate Power Hour. I doubt we're getting that A+ gold setup in this Power Hour. I don't think we're going to get a great trade on gold here today.
Yes.
Always open to the potential of a good trade. But right now, the good trade is probably underneath 44.13, tracking to 4,400, and I'm just not that excited about that one. When I do look at the ES, I was in a session earlier today, and I was talking with a bunch of traders, which it's a very diverse setting with a lot of different types of traders, not just day traders, swing traders, position traders, investors, primarily cash flow type stuff. And I was breaking down some analysis, and I was like, you know what? I really, really, really like the breakdown of the 77.60 level after the cash open, Becky.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, we're going to have to wait a little bit, but I really, really like it because it was just kind of developing. And I was saying, okay, we're going to target 77.50 with ultimate target down around 77.20. And I got I got excited about a conversation me and another trader was having and totally missed the trigger. Just 100% missed the trigger. And I at that point, I was like, okay, I'm not too excited about trading within the high base here. So looking at it fresh here, don't mind the bear trend, but the bear trend is starting to slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
You see that pretty aggressive expansion on the 15-minute chart during the cash open phase.
Mm-hmm.
Before that next pivot, you only had a little bit of expansion to the downside. For example, that first move went about 35 points, second move went about 15 points. When that occurs, you see it through a slowing momentum lens. And so to me, it's not just a matter of trading that bear setup because it is a current bear setup with the bear flag, bearish retracement on the 5, on the 15. And I do like it. I'm just saying, like, you would do it with the partial because of the slowing momentum. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think you can target underneath 77.20 here. Or excuse me, 77.25. That would be the target. So that's what I'm looking at. What's your thoughts on that trade setup?
Yeah, I definitely think we're bearish since open. There's been a bearish aggression, pull up, bearish aggression, and then this is the kind of the third kind of pull up here. But it's definitely the trend is down for today. However, we're getting towards the end here. So I mean, the trades were short on the retracements, but I do think that we have hit some key levels on ES. I had 77.35 as a key level, and we didn't quite get there. But NQ did hit my big target to the downside was 540 on NQ. It looks like
Nice.
Ace is still in it. I didn't trade all the way down to that. Funny on my BluSky account on this trade, I took the long, um, which was this here when we broke down this level and we tagged key level and then we popped back up there. So I just scalped that, which was good. But then I had 540, which was a very key support based on this last week for a couple different days, had key levels at this 540 area. And so now I am hesitant to short because that was such a big target for me to the downside. Like it's labeled for multiple different reasons. It was a point of control, it was very low, it was a consolidation for as long. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's a good point that the 9 has held as resistance. And so then this is the short opportunity here on the, tag of it and retest. That's been the trade all day
honestly, I think you play the bar there on the 15 and you just basically take that cheap risk with stop loss immediately above 77.50.
Yeah.
You're looking at the NASDAQ. I'm looking at the ES. But I don't love it. I like it. I did just enter into a partial shorts based on what we were reading there. I do
Yes.
see it as slowing momentum, and I think it could easily switch the reverse if the ES gets back up above 77.50. Because like when you look at the ES, and we're looking at the 5-minute now, but if you go back to that 15-minute time frame on the ES, same conversation on that 15-minute 9 EMA,
Yeah.
right? Little bit of a different look currently versus the NQ, but the 15-minute 9 EMA has been a boss today.
Yeah,
And
it
the
really
15-minute
does.
9 EMA is the ultimate short-term trending tool when it comes to the intraday analysis.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of feel like you definitely want to favor the bear here. And like I said, I just did get into a partial playing the bar on the ES on the 15-minute time frame.
Yeah.
But if you look at the wick from the last candle that hit the 15, that's right there at 77.50.
Yeah.
And if you break back up above that, at a bare minimum, you wanna get stopped out, but you gotta see that as a technical catalyst since the ES and the NQ have been riding that 15-minute 9 EMA like a horse all day long.
Yeah.
And so you break that, I think you have a situation where you have a little bit of an intraday reversal with the slowing momentum. And so I do favor the bear here slightly, and I do mean slightly. But the bull has a path, and the path is to break back up above 77.50, get above that 15-minute 9 EMA, and see if it wants to get back up into 60. And I wouldn't assume that would get above say 70, but you got 10, 20 points on the top side you could scalp there if that does occur.
Yeah. Yeah, it slid down all gall darn day. I don't know. I don't like longing the top and I don't like shorting the bottom. It's like it makes me so uncomfortable. But the trend is the trend too. And so it's like, rah, and like going counter trend at towards the end of the day is fails just as much, you know. So I don't know. I gotta
We
think
are
about
not breaking the daily pattern today.
it.
So,
No.
like, everything's inside range right now, like, everything is, and when
Well,
everything's inside a daily range, you don't wanna get too excitable about probability analysis inside neutrality.
like this
That
is
kinda
the
feels like a
daily
failure.
and it's
Yeah,
ridiculous. Like one, two, three, four, fifth day of nothing. Of just dancing
um,
within this range.
paint me the least surprised person in America that that's happening.
I
Like,
know.
truly, even Sunday night said Monday was gonna be a doji. Tuesday morning, I was like, "Guys, we're not breaking range here." It's just one of those things that when you get slightly extended after a breakout, the 9 EMA is gonna play a little bit of catch up, and that takes a little bit of time. And high bases can go from 3 bars to all the way to, like, 10 bars. And so it like, inside a high base, like, you we can complain about how much time it takes for patterns to develop, or we can just say it takes time for patterns to develop.
Yeah.
And so for me, I never thought that we were gonna see any catalyst, any move, any break one way or the other before CPI day.
Yeah. Tomorrow
It's you
morning.
were overextended coming into the week. The market was in a consolidation phase, and we're just waiting on CPI day. Now, my anticipation is we probably break tomorrow one way or the other. We either start a pullback phase or we start another breakout phase, but I
Mhm.
just kind of feel like we're trading inside that range right now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no news for this last week. No major news is definitely a situation. Yeah, and I agree with CPI in the morning. Ideally, will give us some energy, right? There's going to be the initial pump right at 8:30 Eastern when it hits. But then we'll have to see what sort of direction, if we can get a directional day that day, that could
Yeah.
potentially break this flag pattern.
Well, I would disagree that there's not been news. Like, we've had major news. We had the labor market data on Friday, inside pattern. That was major, major, major news. That labor market data was basically a catalyst event that got the Fed from stopping to raise interest rates in September. I felt that was a major, major event. You've had geopolitical escalation in the last 2 days that I felt was a little bit more than what we anticipated. See, the reality is when news hits the market's gonna digest that news differently depending on if you're at support, if you're at resistance, if you're overextended, if you're inside pattern.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think anything would have changed the pattern development here.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess I was thinking about it in terms of like volatility, news that caused sustained volatility, but
Mhm.
the pattern held regardless of the fact that there was important news. You're absolutely right on that.
Yeah, you just can't say the labor market isn't important. It's
No, I get it.
1A or 1B most important report that we get in the market. And yeah, Ace, hey, Ace, what if they did try to fake it? And that's the fake, that we saw. By the way, it's hard to fake the revisions. You can't fake the revisions, and I thought the revisions were as nasty as the headline number. But I do believe you can fake the headline number a little bit, but you cannot fake revisions, and those revisions were nasty.
Yeah, it's like
Oh,
starting to,
both coming.
yeah, it's starting to get. That's why I feel like uncomfortable shorting because I just feel like we really did get to some levels in this day. And
Mhm.
now I do think there's going to be some hesitation and aggression into the close today because of the anticipation of tomorrow.
Yeah.
So another strong push down would be a little bit more aggressive given that we're in the last hour of the day today. Kind of like this scoop here.
Now, earnings has been ridiculously boring, and there is no news in the first 2 days of this week that can drive the market.
Yeah.
That is accurate, and if that's what Mary and you were talking about, that is 100% accurate.
Well, yes, today and yesterday were not news days.
No,
Yeah.
no. Like, the major news today, outside of just geopolitical nonsense, um, you wanna talk about Riot's earnings?
Yeah.
Probably not. There's not a lot of major news today.
Yeah.
I think today we're just seeing resistance hold in the high base and crude oil go up, putting pressure on the market.
So this was,
Um, I'll hit reverse ace on if we get above 77.50, like, I might not do it immediately, but if I get stopped out here, like, I feel like my stop loss is right when the trend ends because of the slowing momentum within the trend on the ES, and so I got a stop loss right above 77.50, right above that 15-minute 9 EMA, and if that thing gets busted up, like, I have an opinion at 77.50, so I will take the counter trend trade there, but everything today, and it's not just today, it's the high base. I was complaining to Becky about this before we went live. It's the number one thing I don't like trading in, truly, as a day trader, is tight consolidation on the daily chart that doesn't have the ability to open up pockets for a day trader. It can be a scalper's heaven. Like, it can be a scalper's really good, environment. So, what I'm saying, some other trader might be, "Oh, I love short-term consolidation," because it does create quick ranges, and I totally understand that. But you know me, I like to capture trends. I like to manage stop losses. I like to trail. I like to scale. I like to do those things. And when like, legitimately, we have a 70-point total range here on the daily chart. And so it's not a great environment for somebody like me who doesn't really like to scalp. I'll scalp because we're here, it's there, I see the pocket, short the time frame, let's get it done. But I do prefer structuring things on 5, 15, and even hourly time frames. And if we break out of 7,800, I promise you I'm gonna be thinking about longer term time frames too.
I'm just playing with my chart here, thinking about what we got going on here. Because I
Not
do
bad,
think
it's not a
that
bad look, like
no,
the bull counter trend here, but
uh-huh. Yeah, I think we could get up to this initial balance low, which was the breakout, which was the level that fell earlier, 637 on NQ. Yes, it's higher for that level, but
mhm.
we'll see if it does a retracement here, and we'll see if we wanna but then, also lower high, lower low, lower high. So, Dow theory could be going down as well. So, just because if it pulls back here doesn't mean it's gonna go long or up. We'll see here.
See, and how I would see that is, and I totally agree with everything you said, by the way,
Mhm.
but for me, see, this is the difference between a shorter term time frame trader and me. I would actually, as a bull, I would wait for it to break out of that higher level.
Yeah.
Like, I see your trigger, and I really like it, honestly, but that's kind of a symmetrical triangle break, and I don't my eyes really that's a me problem, nobody else. But
Same
I
page.
would really like the breakout of that higher level.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd really like that.
Yeah, above this, that 638, and then a
Mhm.
retracement to it. Yeah. I just don't know if we have the time either too. As
Oh,
far as
no.
that goes with these power hour ones, it's like,
No, we might not.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
But now I feel like we've gotten a leg and a flag and a leg up, so I don't want a long here either. I'd rather it come back and test this and hold right here, and then I could be interested in seeing for one more leg up. But if this folds, then that would be a short trigger for me. If this little support here is
I think I'm getting stopped out here momentarily, personally, and I
yeah.
actually rather like the pull side. I do like slowing momentum situations, counter trend slowing momentum situations. Those are one of the things that I do enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind mean reversion. I mean, I like mean reversion and trend trading. Yeah, we need to see what's gonna happen here. Yeah.
Hostler, bullish AF, baby. Slowing momentum. Send
Let's
it to the moon.
go.
Send it, team.
Pop
Send it.
this mama.
Don't you worry. Don't you
Take
worry.
it.
Hostler's got her back. That big money coming in underneath. Love it. Love it. Love it.
See what a trend line looks like on
What do we got? What do we got tonight? Am I
mm,
missing something tonight?
Taco Tuesday. No, I don't know. Is there
Little
something?
Taco Tuesday on some Iranian escalation the last few days. Okay.
Mm,
Okay.
like the Iranian stuff. I don't know if there's a structure in when those announcements come. It seems unstructured.
It depends on what White House staffer wants to get their order in first.
Yeah,
Oh man,
tacos and
I
bombs.
better not get on that too much. I got comments and I got opinions. Like I can handle a lot. The insider trading stuff drives me absolutely bananas. Like
Yeah,
fire in my eyes, burning in my soul. It drives me absolutely nuts. And it's so blatant these days. It's just ridiculous.
yeah,
Less so less so as much these days as it was during the initial saga of the Iranian war.
yeah,
But like most things, the impact of something has less impact over time.
yeah. That's like a lot of things.
Um, if I had insider info and I worked for the United States government, Hoster, no, I would not. Absolutely not. I have principles.
Yeah,
Which one do you want? Do you want money or principles? You choose.
I think the
There's a
slope would
lot
be
of
so
ways to make
slippery.
money. There's not a lot of ways to get your principles.
Yeah, and once you started behaving like that, like that's how they all turn. They all turn, get pickled.
I don't think government officials should have the ability to own stock. I would if I was in Congress right now, I would absolutely sign a ban on Congress buying and selling stock. Absolutely. I'd make it for anybody that had any impact on, from a congressional perspective, an executive perspective, a judicial perspective that have an impact on the people. Do your job, and that's not to make money. If you wanted to do that, go work at a Wall Street firm. They're hiring. I'm sure they would hire the politicians. They want to be great traders, but there you go. No, I think we've mixed politics and finance way too much, and it's becoming normal to a lot of people in America. But for the last 200 years, it wasn't normal. So, no, let's change the subject because I will get very opinionated on that.
Should we talk about gold for a second? Are we coming
Please, I
back
can
to
get on my
support?
soapbox.
All right. This was in London low, right at London open, where gold tagged. And then we did a big pop. And then we're back in there doing a little bit of
I
a
like the
double
short
top.
here. I think you can short that 15-point range.
Short to take out this low.
I don't think you're taking out the low by the end of today. Like, in the next 37 minutes? Probably not, but if I remember right, that's a 15-point range on gold, right?
Well, this is the 5-minute chart.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there's 15 points there, or is it
Oh,
10?
21 to 15. This is only 6 points
Yeah, it's
on
not
the
worth it.
5-minute. Yeah. I think it could hold here is what I'm wondering. Is if potential against this counter trend too.
If it holds, looking at the GC contract here.
Just trend line everything today. Why not? I gotta we're talking about doing anything counter, we need to see what the counter
It's at
will
a
be.
really that support level at the 18 level, 17 level. That's a really important support level intraday
That's what
wise.
I'm saying. Like it kind of tagged it and it could hold here. But it would have to break the trend, which is, lower lows, lower highs. But here, it didn't really do a lower high. It did double bottom with bullish divergence.
Yeah.
But it's been down all day. So
if I had
something I really
to,
like.
I'd buy it, but I'd wait for better development here.
Yeah.
I mean, gold's so fun to trade. We just had that example yesterday, right? Gold is so fun to trade because 20 points is like you capture 20 points on gold is fantastic, but it can be a difficult trading vehicle. And so I do think you got to be a little bit more like I love to ask for patterns. Like I love to call out my pattern. If I get it, you hit it. That's the mentality I've had for many, many, many years. Call your pattern. If you get your pattern, drill your pattern. And like to me, the probable setup is a breakdown, but I personally like to break the recovery a little bit more. I'm going to wait on development here, which means I won't be trading gold until tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's a good point. Like, obviously, the trend line is down. Obviously, it's been down all day today, and so the priority should be
That
to the
trend
shorts.
line.
Yeah. So, I mean, the priority would be to
Triple
short
bottom there.
anywhere in here. I know. See, that's the thing, though. It's the triple bottom in a level from last night that had a strong energy out of it. So the bulls might want to defend it, which
it was a
looks like
resistance level last night. Like
yeah.
that was one of the levels yesterday that we were breaking out of when we made our trade.
Retested, held. This would have been a sick trade. That was through the night, though. An overnight slid down.
The sick trade would have been if we were willing to carry our day trade yesterday through the overnight session into the Asian session.
My alerts were going off in the evening for that, and I was like, well, okay.
I didn't do it. I was satisfied with our gold trade we had from yesterday, but it was a good trading environment last night coming up into the Asian session. Oh yeah, the bulls were ferocious, Piper, yesterday. I read a report on CNBC from some Wall Street institution today. There's like, oh, the gold run has been great, but now it's been doing the best it's had in the last 103 days, and it's slightly overextended. And when you're slightly overextended, the path to profitability has a revision to it. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, that was 50 too many words just to say overextended secondary pattern. Wow.
I'm hesitating on going long because of the trend, but
honestly, I have some hesitation in general today.
This was a bear day, but then coming in here, it's like feels like catching the knife, which I don't want to demonstrate catching the knife, but it was a nice area that the Q stopped at, as well as gold.
Like team, and I'm dead serious here. Is it just me, or does other people on the BluSky team here have hesitation today? Like I do. I have some hesitation today, and I don't know if it's because I just don't like high bases, like day trading in a high base, or like I kind of feel like we're going to get some volatility tomorrow. Yeah, and I do expect volatility tomorrow.
Yeah, Piper passed an eval yesterday based on that gold trade in Power Hour, Matt.
Piper did?
Piper did.
Piper, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. So proud of you on that one. That's awesome.
That's right. You pulled the trigger.
Everybody, let's again. We say this all the time, Becky. But when somebody on the team does something amazing, you show them some flowers, you give them some love because you always cheer on your teammates. You always cheer on your teammates. Piper, great job.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. Like we're here to make the money together. And I wonder if that's part of my hesitation too, is like recognizing that I'm anticipating some more volatility being infused tomorrow. And like I had pretty good morning this morning, so I'm less like kind of itchy for a good trade. And I kind of want to catch the knife. And so for that, it gives me pause. Like thinking about buying in the downtrend, it's supposed to give me pause.
I kind of want to catch the knife too. Well, and on Thursday, we get the PPI report, which means we should see some volatility on Thursday as well. Tomorrow and Thursday, they could be really good day trading days.
All right, we're just going for this target. I'm going to start getting some contracts on here.
All right, I got
Where'd
stopped
it
out.
go?
I'm going to do it with you.
I don't know what I did. I clicked the wrong freaking button. I was in and then I was out.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to try on the Qs because I would have liked to get in here when this one broke, but I didn't. And it didn't come back down here. I was watching these two candles develop and they didn't come down lower either. They just keep basing, push, base, and now we're in the next push. So I think the first target is pretty dang close at 38 here. Super close. Oh, waited too long. Yeah. Got out of the shorts. Yes, long is moving. Yeah, I'm in favor of the longs across the board right now. Which everyone
right.
engage in your own risk.
So I got Becky saying I'm favoring the longs. Vodka already shifted like 10 minutes ago. Aces, I'm out. I'm out.
Yeah.
ES so I think Ace and I are basically both staring at the chart, wondering when we should get in.
I think Ace might be in a long on ES.
Ace, are you in a long? Did you already go long on ES? It did close that 15-minute 9 EMA for first time today. Like that's no joke.
All right, I got in late, so I am taking the scale when it hits my target, my first target here at 38, which just happened. So I've already got in and out on the one scale. All right. Because it was just pumping hard to my target there. But now I'm just going to hold and see what can happen.
And I'm going to get scalped to death today.
I'm sorry. I'm being a bad influence.
It's fine.
Well, I've been fighting myself for too freaking long, and now I'm kind of chasing
it willingly. Yes. Is there peer pressure? Yes, 100%. But I go along willingly there, Becky.
Okay, there you go. Ace hedging is, you know what? Smart. Hedging is smart choice. I kind of should have gone on a mini because the contract, the trade was so close.
Who got the best number on the long ES? Looks like we're all begging this thing together here. Who got the best entry on the ES? I got in I was late, 51.
I'm not in ES. Because it's hit my target, I'm going to move my runners to break even because if it comes back lower, then I want to get in again. Since the NQ could reject here a little bit.
It could.
But it could also pump all the way up.
Like it could, if it breaks that, like that's a pretty important level intraday wise.
It is.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I'm like not gonna let this trade go red. I'm gonna let it pull back down and
because it went to that level. I'm sorry, Becky, for going on top of you there.
Hyper got in at 48. Hey. What up, Delilah? Hi. Thomas, what up? 48.
Thomas, 48.
Okay. Yes. We were talking them into the longs as we were talking.
You snipers. Hyper and Thomas, snipers out there.
On point.
Just
the shorts failed, man. The shorts rolled over. And bulls took the reins. Let's see what gold's doing. I should have got gold too. Yeah, we're gonna see if it comes back, and I'm gonna get some gold.
How did I talk myself out of you trying to go long gold?
I know.
I should be slapped for that.
I might have to like come up to where you live.
I might have to hide from you for a second. I talked Becky out of a long gold. I can't believe that.
Who are you?
I can't believe that.
You are. Yeah,
I don't know what to say.
Okay.
Ridiculous behavior.
You talking me out of a couple longs. I talked myself into them. But also that's me.
How am I talking you? The perma bull gold bug.
What is happening?
Talking you out of long ES and long gold. Oh my goodness.
Who are we? The issue is that we're merging, and so
don't do that, Ace. I'll decry AI.
All right. My NQ has got a break even stop, and I'm gonna re-enter if it comes back on me. My gold, I put a limit entry if it comes down to tag me because it just broke that. And so I want to see if it will retest this breakout here, a break above the moving average. So my buy on gold is at 28.8. It will pick me up.
I will join you if we get a 2 more bar consolidation.
Love it.
I just say those are rules for me when it comes to reversals. I got to see little pattern to structure the trade on. It's the only thing I need to see.
I like it.
Definitely see the edge there.
Yeah, for me, I got the break of this resistance and I got the break of the trend line. So now I just want to get picked up.
Let's double tap.
I know. That's good. This response in this larger time frame level is meaningful. It was the resistance we broke yesterday, like you said, and it was the overnight support for a strong push, and it did a triple bottom here in the last hour and a half. I like it. I like it as a setup. It could reject, in which case, it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. For NQ, I'm wondering if we can get up to like maybe 74.
You're not in GC yet. You are
Not yet.
in ES, and you're just anticipating GC.
I'm in NQ. I'm NQ, and I'm trying to
Oh,
get
yeah,
in.
you did NQ, not ES.
Yeah,
That's right.
so we're in all of them. You're doing ES.
We got them covered. ES over here. I will join you on gold if I get that.
Yeah, it's like right at my level. Like I kind of want to be taken right here, but I want to see if it'll come back to this base candle, and I think it might hold here. I really think it might hold here.
Oh, I'd say the gold break. The longer term trend line on like the 30-minute chart kind of leads to 440.
Okay.
If you can get a break here. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta see if it picks me up. I don't want to chase this one because it already did 15 minutes worth of bullish momentum. And so it should, to retest this would make sense. And I want to put my stop underneath this. Yeah. So there, it just picked me up. Yeah. I want to put my stop underneath this bar. A little bit of an aggressive entry. Let me see what this would look like. If I put the anomaly of this breakout on here. I don't know why it's so buggy. I don't know why I'm gonna refresh this really quick. It's like won't let me move my boxes how I want to move them. Like jumping around. Driving me crazy. 2640. Okay. 135. Just drawing this anomaly on the 5-minute chart. I don't know if you guys do that, but I kind of like to look at the anomalies with the break and as part of my entry criteria and stop loss management. Then I want to go to like just under half of it. My risk. Okay. Ooh, NQ is pushing up. Let's go. I'm going to be generous and put my exit at VWAP, but I think that's very far away. We'll see. Like 700. Actually, that's not that far away. That's pretty reasonable. That's right underneath this consolidation, where 700 was kind of an area of interest earlier in the morning, where the downward momentum tried to hold here at 700 for NQ. So that could be an area where we want to retest. And it's under VWAP, so reasonable target here. NQ is dancing right around my entry, around that base here of the breakout. So We'll see. One, my MNQ trade is at break even, and this one is uh, right, slightly red around my entry on GC long.
Oh, yes, try and play catch up here.
Well, let's go. They're all pushing. Yes, and NQ pushing nicely.
Big shout out to everybody who went long on the ES and Q.
Turn your magnet off. What's
Who,
the magnet? Oh,
who did it first? Was it you or was it? Trying to find them. I want to say it was Morrow or Vodka. I think it was Vodka went long ES first, or Naz, then you, then Ace.
uh-huh. Yeah, we were talking through all the things, and it looked like there was
Oscar,
some bullish energy across the board.
Thomas Massey, all long. Well done.
Let's go. Think about where I want this gold target.
I don't know who got the best fill. I know I did not get the best fill. I saw a couple people at 48 on the ES. I was at 51 on the ES, so I was a little bit late. I think Hoster's talking the NASDAQ.
Let's see for this gold trade if we can get up to this kind of resistance support area around 39, 40 area. Where did I put 39.5? All right, now we'll see. We'll see if this breakout will hold, if this trend line break will hold. Let's see. Let's go. Bullish and of course tacos. He knows what's up on this Tuesday. Good job, everyone. Let's make some money. Old settlement price from last week. Bull's got work to do. Yeah. I think fizzling out in the day is going to be very interesting to see what happens tomorrow morning and overnight. We'll see if this wants to come back down and test this breakout anomaly here on gold. I'm not going to squeeze it yet. With NQ, I already locked in some profit and I'm protected, so. We'll see. It's getting a little resistance here, which is from this consolidation earlier that we broke through. So we'll see. This is a very interesting area. Both could see some resistance here. Both ES and NQ are at an important area. We got above this resistance. So that's a good sign for the NQ push. We got above 37 and we're above it now. So it's a good look. I feel like I want to put both on screen, but then I also probably need ES. But since I'm in these, I'm going to leave them.
No, leave it on the ones you're in.
Yeah, I'm going to put NQ on the right and GC on the, NQ on the left and GC on the right. Yeah, oh, I can manage them.
I plan on scaling out at 58 and leaving a runner to see if we can get some momentum.
Yeah, we've got to push the trend. Like we did break some levels with this push up on both NQ and ES, but now we're in a situation of where the bears, if the bears want to like throw down and try and claim ownership on the day, or if they're going to allow the bulls to do what they're doing. Right in here makes sense for a little bit of an argument. Let's see what will happen here. We're getting back down to that breakout level on gold.
Mhm.
Okay, my stop on gold is at 24.4. It's coming down against it. We'll see. I did front run that trade a little bit with the momentum break there. I don't want to just hold the full range on that stop. So I'm going to leave it where it is, just over half of that fair value gap on the breakup. Yeah.
Your stop loss to break even?
On NQ it is. On
Yeah,
gold it's not.
Yeah, I'm not on. I am not there on ES yet.
Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's see what can happen here. NQ is protected. Gold is slightly red. We'll see if this area will hold. This is where I want to hold. It's on the 5-minute 9 EMA, and it's on top of that fair value gap of the breakout of that triple bottom is what I'm looking at. Let me see what the 15 on gold looks like.
I know the goal's not working out yet, but I actually really do like the pattern development. Like that might be support against that reversal.
Right?
I know it's not helpful right now, but I do like it. Like I'm just saying, like I do like it.
Keep speaking good about it.
Like, I'm sorry, but I don't know how much my influence helps there.
You tell her. You tell her to pop.
Come on, GC. Well, you can't yell at GC. You gotta pet that shiny rock.
Yeah.
Yes, whisper sweet nothings to GC.
Love her. Love on her. Okay.
You can yell at silver. You can yell at the NQ. You can yell at the ES, Ethereum, Bitcoin. You can yell at those.
They respond to different energy.
You gotta like precious. Like it's just precious. You got to treat.
Oh, my sweet little lady. Come on. You know you want to go up. You already told me you want to go up. We'll see. We'll see. This is an area, very, very interesting area right here. The 15 did retrace and sit on the 9 EMA, and now it's right at the area where I think it could hold. So that's my trade plan basically, is it holds here or it doesn't on this GC trade for the long.
Well, if I keep behaving the way I am right now, I'm going to be the death by 1,000 needles here.
Sorry, man. That it took me out on my break even stop on my NQ long. So I got one scale and profit and one scratch on my runner.
Yeah, we can talk about me being 0 for 2 on scalps in Power Hour today. Sorry, team. Or let's just talk about gold yesterday. That was a great trade.
Yeah, gold yesterday was great. Like, let's cheer on this gold bulls right now.
This is why I don't like trading in high bases. This is how I feel about them. Chop suey.
Yeah. I think there was some good opportunities earlier today that kind of made sense. And then now I think it's tricky. Like it's just not an obvious end of day because the momentum was down, but also we had a full day and it was looking to hold. So it's not a beautiful.
Hard to catch a slowing momentum reversal with 30 minutes left in the session. It was a good breakdown this morning though. Like there was a couple of good patterns there this morning. No, I'm 0 for 2 in Power Hour though.
Can't win them all. You had small risk.
Well, that is true.
Right? Yeah. See?
Like tight stops, didn't give them a lot of room, not a lot of trust. You go or don't. Basically, I call it go or don't setups where your stop is just so tight. You're playing the pattern. It's like you either do it or you don't.
Yeah. I actually think we just retested my level, so I'm going to tighten my stop on gold and just let it take me out if it's not going to hold here because it's turning down now. Yeah, I think it broke down lower.
And balance is coming in about less than 2 minutes here, team.
Go or don't. That's my sitch on gold. My stop is literally one tick underneath this current candle pivot. So is what it is. Let's go bulls.
Calling it. I think it goes back up and you get at least break even there.
Yeah, that'd be great. I would love that for me.
Thinking positive here.
I do like this pattern development and I'm not mad about it because it's just I got in on before it fully had a chance to retest this. So I should have been more patient and then tried to get my entry down in over here. I wouldn't have had to weather this. But either way, like my risk is not bad.
Like this is a pattern, that W with an increase in support. We were talking about our
Mhm.
favorite patterns yesterday.
Yeah.
That's one of mine. Like a reversal with an increase in support. You
Yeah.
buckle that against those two trend lines we're tracking on gold. Like it's not going to be a trade today because we're closing in 10 minutes, but like that's something to keep an eye on tonight. Like on the reopen going into the Asian session, maybe in the Australian session,
Yeah.
because we are seeing some reversal tendencies here.
All right. Gold
And
did
gold does have a
rebound.
daily edge. Like the daily edge is there still.
Okay, I want to put gold on full screen, but it rebounded there from when we started talking pretty tour.
That's why I said I think you're going to get at least break even here. I'd like that support level.
But I
Then
kind of
it
want to hold the
double
trade. I
wick
think I'm
low
just,
right there.
yeah,
Sexy.
I'm going to let it be. I'm going to let it be either a win or a fail because we're coming into imbalances. It's green right now. I like the trade. And if I move to break even, it's going to scratch me. Go, go, go. Just go. Come on. You know you're strong.
I agree with that vodka.
Bigger count.
I do.
Yeah.
I am thinking about that honestly.
Yeah. It's a
I
good
haven't
place.
done a lot of gold go to bed trades lately because, well, let's face it hasn't been a good long instrument going into that. And it can get real sensitive on the London Open, which sometimes I don't trust. I usually do the go to bed trade on the ES. I used to do it on the euro dollar cross. But like you know me, I'm a big believer, but I like the reversal playing out. And I think there's a daily edge. And I think the Asian session's most likely going to be positive tonight.
I should pull up gold.
You're getting a IAU? Isn't IAU the cheaper gold trust, right? So you have GLD, then you have IAU, then you have there's a lot of IAs, but like IAG, J, GDXJ for the junior miners, GDX. Mine's I'd like to look at I got a core position in GLD, core position in GDX. I do covered on both of them. They're both longer term assets, like I'd look to add over time. Um, and then I have a core holding in KGC. So those are my three long term GLD, GDX, and KGC. But I found some $1 baller gold stocks earlier today, or I should give my good friend Coach Frank a shout out there. He found them. There's a lot of good gold opportunities with secondary development, I would say.
Dollar gold baller is my favorite thing I've heard all day today.
Little gold low dollar baller.
I like that. That sounds fun.
We also say it started with the penny stock.
Mm.
The thing about those gold stocks, the penny stocks of 5 years ago are now the long-term covered calls of today. The covered call analysis stocks from 5 years ago are now just long-term dividend payers. And now the next generation of gold stocks is coming up. It's quite amazing.
Took my step out on gold.
BZLA imbalances got you, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it hesitated on imbalances and then it just dropped. Took me out just like 1 minute ago, so a minute after imbalances. And everything's just sort of dinking around. I'm looking across and it's like they're all just ES and Q are both sliding down now, which is the trend of the day. So the bears are trying to own the close here. At this moment, anyway.
If BZLA gets above 4, we're going to 5. Get above 5, you're rocking into 7. I don't mind it. I'd like to see some development at that $4 level. But it's got a longer term, reversal playing out here.
Yes, sinking kind of fast. Meh, I think there's the long play was sneaky here, and easy to hesitate on it because it easily could have fallen here on the trend. And then when it did pop, it was so close to target. Wasn't a huge range. And now we're sliding back, but also I would be hesitant to short this because we're so close to the end of the day. It's just going to fizzle out inside here is my read. So protect yourself, whichever way you're at. Imbalance got me. Yeah. I think the momentum was up, but it, it was a bearish day. So I didn't know how high I was going to go, but mm, I wouldn't be surprised if we close right in here for the end of the day here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
We're too close to the end.
Not a fan of the last 2 days price action personally, Vodka.
Yeah. Dude, yesterday morning kicked my butt, not even gonna lie. So today I'm green across the board, so thank goodness. But it's just tricky, man. It's
I didn't even trade the ES yesterday. I didn't like it. Like,
such good restraint. I love that.
but I did trade gold.
Well, that was gorgeous.
I honestly, if I wasn't in streams, I never force things ever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in my personal live account, like I never force things. I get my numbers, I get my patterns, I get my trades, or I don't, but I don't force the action.
1 KDD in the morning on account you're passing. Ugh. Stopped in the money. Let's go, Ace. Yeah, that's good. That it pulled back just to test that, and it is holding the upward energy right now. Yeah, ES. You're talking about ES. Or
Doing nothing. Shaky vol.
4 is the tip, man. Cheers to that. Dang, Ace, you fast. You're fast.
You bought again?
He's like 3 bars down, I'm in. I love that for you. Let's go. Get it, get it. We got some fast traders up in here.
I'm not disagreeing with it. Like,
Hey. And you know what? The ability to protect it right away, right? That's Mike's like,
Mhm.
if ever there was like a quintessential Mike phrase, it's got to be the stop gain for me. Like,
Yeah,
get
I do
in
like
and
how he frames the stop gain versus the
yeah.
stop loss. Like, I do like that messaging because
Mm.
it's those subtle things that just put the right mindset. You know what I mean? I know it's not that big of a deal. Everybody knows what we're talking about, but I do think it matters over time.
Yeah.
And I just love how he thinks about the stop gain versus the stop loss. Like, why are
Yeah.
we talking about losses? Like,
Right.
let's talk about gains.
He's
He's like,
such a proponent of protecting yourself.
oh, it's well, the number one rule of trading.
Should
Like,
be
well, there's
always
money.
risk management and
That's
protect
the
your back
number
end.
one rule of trading according to
Yeah.
Warren Buffett.
Here's that. I could have moved my gold trade started working. I could have moved it to break even, but it was only in profit for less than a minute and it reversed back on me. So I held the trade to my risk.
You always, always, always use a stop loss. We're just talking about how Mike frames the wording and terminology of stop loss versus stop gain. But
Yeah.
then Mike's a boss trader. He gets those gains quicker than the rest of us.
I feel the exact same way you're saying, vodka. Of like when he says that, I'm like, but what if the trade doesn't work out right away? So I don't ever start my trades with stop gain. Obviously, you start and you have to accept the risk of like if the trade fails with this little gives, then you're out. But I think the difference is that he's such a freaking boss trader with like years and years of experience that his trades just always work, which is madness.
Yeah,
That's his experience is that he always has a stop gain because he's like hits profit sooner. But if you
well,
watch, he does scratch them.
but also like you're both of you are 100% right. We're all talking the same language here.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like as a trader, the initial conversation of stop loss is the language of stop loss. But
Yeah.
how you manage the stop loss is from a gain perspective. Like, you don't move the stop loss until you can get to break even, and then it's a matter of managing the gain along the way. which means Mike is right. The majority of time that you deal with stop losses, you're dealing it from a management perspective. Like how, for example, how long in a normal trade is your stop loss at that level before you adjust it? I'd say not very long.
Minutes.
Minutes, right? And you might be in a trade how long?
Look at gold. I'm sorry.
You got ticked out and
This bleepy bleep ticked me out and
yes, Ricky, that's what I'm saying. It's just the mindset. That's what and it just took Ricky to show up to make it all right. Ricky, what's up, buddy? It's good to see you.
Cheers to that, Ricky. I'm sorry I interrupted. You guys are absolutely correct. I just was like having a moment.
Literally
like 2/10 of a.
I saw it.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
This is the game. This is what's up.
You got slightly wicked. Not even a stop hunt. You just got wicked out.
Yep. You kiss of a whip. The whisper of
you got wicked, and then the Bulls took charge. Like, I'm just gonna
go. My trade plan was right.
Becky's money. Yeah. All right, team. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Rain, sun, bull day, bear day, doji day, choppy day, trending day, you name the day. Doesn't matter. We're here with you at BluSky TV, helping you guys navigate the price action day in, day out. Great trades, good trades. We don't like to talk about the bad trades, team. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Becky, you are awesome in your lab today. If you haven't checked out Becky's lab, definitely do that as well. I kind of feel like I'm Dr. Seuss over here. I'm going to send it over to Becky for some final thoughts.
Thanks, Matt. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate doing the psychology lab. So thanks for everyone who came to that live. The recording will be up on YouTube later. But also thanks for hanging with us for Power Hour. It's always fun with friends, and we can talk about the market, grab some points here and there. It was an interesting session, to say the least. But tomorrow's going to be even more interesting. So we'll see you all in charts tomorrow. Mike in the morning and Matt and I in the afternoon. Take care, everyone.
Later, team.